Every dancer knows the feeling. Heart pounding. Palms sweating. The moment when everything you've worked for comes down to a single performance. But what happens when that moment doesn't go the way you planned? This is a story about failure. But more than that, it's a story about perspective, about how our worst moments can become someone else's greatest inspiration. Sarah had been training for 12 years. 12 years of early mornings and bloody toes. 12 years of sacrifice, of missing parties and family gatherings. 12 years of her mother driving her to rehearsals, of ice baths and protein shakes and mirrors that showed every imperfection. The Metropolitan Ballet Company audition was everything she'd worked for. Only 20 spots. 300 dancers competing. Sarah had prepared a contemporary piece, bold, emotional, technically demanding. She'd practiced it 1,000 times. In her bedroom. In the studio. In her dreams. She knew every breath, every extension, every turn. Her body had memorized the choreography so deeply that she could perform it without thinking. Or so she thought. The audition room was cold. Industrial. The kind of space that swallows dreams whole. 3 judges sat at a table, their faces unreadable. Sarah took her position. The music began. And then, everything fell apart. It started small. A wobble on a pirouette. Then her foot slipped during a leap. Panic crept in, that terrible spiral where one mistake leads to another. She could feel herself unraveling, her muscle memory betraying her, her mind screaming at her body to just stop. But she couldn't stop. She had to finish. When the music ended, the silence was deafening. The judges thanked her with the kind of politeness that feels like pity. Sarah walked out knowing she'd failed. Spectacularly. Publicly. Completely. She made it to the park across the street before the tears came. Great, heaving sobs that shook her entire body. 12 years. Gone. Just like that. She sat on a bench, her face in her hands, wondering what she was supposed to do now. Who was she, if not a dancer? Where was she supposed to go from here? The dreams she'd built her entire life around had just crumbled in a cold audition room in front of 3 strangers. That's when she heard the small voice. "Excuse me." Sarah looked up through her tears. A little girl, maybe 7 years old, stood in front of her. Wide eyes. Pink backpack. Hopeful smile. "I saw you dancing," the girl said. "That move you did, the one where you jumped and spun in the air. That was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Could you teach me?" Sarah stared at her. Beautiful? She'd just failed. She'd fallen. She'd embarrassed herself in front of everyone who mattered in the dance world. But this little girl, she hadn't seen failure. She'd seen beauty. She'd seen inspiration. She'd seen something worth learning. Sarah wiped her eyes. And then, right there in the park, still in her audition clothes, she showed the little girl the move. She explained the technique, demonstrated the form, held the girl's hand as she tried it herself. For 20 minutes, Sarah forgot about the audition. She forgot about failure. She just danced with this child who saw magic where Sarah had only seen mistakes. When the girl's mother called her away, she hugged Sarah tight. "Thank you," she whispered. "I'm going to practice every day." Sarah watched her skip away, pink backpack bouncing. And for the first time that day, she smiled. 10 years later, Sarah, now teaching at a community dance studio, received an invitation to a debut performance at the Metropolitan Ballet Company. The principal dancer wanted her there. Personal invitation. The dancer's name was Emma Chen. In her program notes, she wrote, "I dedicate this performance to the woman I saw dance in an audition 10 years ago. She showed me that beauty isn't about perfection. It's about passion. She's the reason I'm here tonight." Sarah sat in the audience, tears streaming down her face once again. But this time, they were different tears. Because she finally understood. Your failure in one story can be the inspiration in someone else's. Your worst day might be the moment that changes another person's life. We never know who's watching. We never know what they'll see. Sometimes, the move that makes you fall is the same move that makes someone else fly.